Hello everyone, hope you all are doing great. A warm welcome to today's session on mastering UI component libraries, Tailwind CSS and Material UI. We are thrilled to have you join us for the practical and insightful masterclass in today's fast-moving tech world. Creating responsive, modern, and visually appealing UIs is essential. Today, tools like Tailwind CSS and Material UI help developers build sleek, consistent design, faster, and more effective. Whether you are a beginner or looking to level up your skill, this session is packed with tips, tools, and best practices you can apply right now. Before we dive, I, Before we dive in, I am Preeti, your host for today's session. It's my pleasure to introduce our expert speaker, Mr. Rohit. Rohit is a seasoned tech professional with 11 years of experience in front-end development, React, Node.js, Tailwind, Material UI, and more. He has delivered scalable solution for clients across India, US, Singapore, and Australia, and has a solid grip on both development and training. As a mentor, he has trained around 2000 plus students across various cities and helped many land job at top companies like Infosys, Accenture, H&M, and Genpact. He has also collaborated with EdTech giants like upGrad and Newton School and contributed to corporate training for Capgemini, Infosys, and others. This session is all about hands-on learning and interaction. So stay engaged, take notes, and don't hesitate to ask questions. Without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Rohit. Over to you, Rohit.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's so lovely to join you all. As Preeti already mentioned, today we are going to discuss UI development toolkits, primarily Tailwind and Material UI. Without much further ado, let me just dive right in. Let me first share with you a small presentation. And don't worry when I say small, it is actually small. I am much more of a practical guy, so I won't bore you with endless slides. So let's start. Well, Preeti also mentioned, but here is a slight detailed introduction about me, what I do, what I have been doing for the past 11 years. I train students offline, online with various aspects of India. I have been developing, I develop solution for clients in India, US, Australia, and various parts of the world. The tech stack that I deal with front end responsive design, Bootstrap, Tailwind, Material, Shine. I also work with JavaScript and React. When it comes to backend, I dab in Node, PHP, WordPress, and Laravel. When it comes to databases, I work with both SQL and MySQL databases. In SQL side, it's MySQL and Postgres, and in MongoDB in NoSQL side. If you want to know more about me, I have also mentioned my social media links. Do check them out. Right? So this is small introduction about me. Well, let's dive in for what we are here today. As I already mentioned, we will be discussing about the what, the how, Tailwind CSS, and Material UI. Yes, before moving any further, some prerequisites. Again, this is not a hard and fast list. If you know them, good. If you don't, you can still enjoy and learn very much from this session. Okay, screen is not visible. Guys, is my screen not visible to all of you? Do let me
Uh,
know, guys.
Actually, Rohit, the screen is visible. Maybe like he's facing some network issues.
Oh, okay. Okay. For people who can't see my screen, please kindly rejoin. हिंदी में भी बता सकते हैं स्नेहा, ऐसी कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. अगर आपको स्क्रीन दिख रही है तो अच्छी बात, नहीं दिख रही है अगर, तो प्लीज एक बार रिजॉइन कर लीजिएगा. Okay. So on Ishan's request, let me stop the sharing and reshare. Don't worry, Ishan. I take every question very seriously. Ishan, is it visible to you now? स्नेहा सब्जेक्ट है ये फ्रंट एंड में टेलविंड सीएसएस और मटेरियल यूआई के ऊपर नॉट विजिबल well guys because it is visible to some people you'll have to switch your network or your browser thank you Ishan okay so if you weren't able to see my screen before this is what we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about what Tailwind CSS is, why should we use it, how can we use it, and the very same for what is Material UI, how and why should we use it. And in the end, I'm going to tell you the amalgamation of both because as in today, we use both combinedly in projects, right? Some prerequisites, again, it's not a hard and fast list. If you know them, fantastic. If you don't, well, it's perfectly fine as well. If you know some CSS properties like margin, padding, if you know what a flex box is, if you know how to apply borders and shadows, then this will be much, much more interesting for you. If you are familiar with the commands npm and npx, if not, if it is perfectly fine. I'll be just using these commands. You can just write them down. If you understand them, then it is fantastic. And again, when we will switch to Material UI, Material UI will require some basic understanding of React. And when I say basic, I mean basic only. You should be able to install React on your own. You should be able to understand its folder structure. Where should I write the code? What app JSX is and what main JSX is. This is the only prerequisite for this session. ठीक है कुछ लोगों की रिक्वेस्ट है हिंदी में बता देता हूँ देखिए इस सेशन में थोड़ी सी चीजें आपको रिक्वायर्ड होंगी आपको सीएसएस की प्रॉपर्टीज के बारे में पता होना चाहिए फ्लेक्स बॉक्स क्या है ग्रिड क्या है मार्जिन पैडिंग क्या होती है बॉर्डर कैसे लगता है शेडोज हम कैसे लगाते हैं गैप क्या होता है ये आपको पता होना चाहिए पता है तो अच्छी बात है नहीं पता है तो भी ये सेशन आपके लिए है एनपीएम एनपीएक्स नाम आपने सुने हैं दैट इज फाइन रिएक्ट इंस्टॉलेशन आपको आना चाहिए रिएक्ट के फोल्डर स्ट्रक्चर की बेसिक जानकारी आपको होनी चाहिए बस इतना ही रिक्वायर्ड है इस सेशन बाकी सब आई प्रोवाइड well enough of scratching the surface let's dive right in before diving into the next part is code so before diving into code a very quick question you can answer yes or no क्या आप लोगों में से पहले किसी ने कोडिंग करी है do you guys code have you coded before oh fantastic all right अरे वेरी गुड फैंटास्टिक सी प्लस प्लस अरे कोडिंग पर ही होनी चाहिए सी प्लस प्लस है सी है दैट डज नॉट मैटर हाँ टुडे सेशन हाउएवर विल बी जावास्क्रिप्ट हैवी तो सी प्लस प्लस अगर आपने करी है सो यू आर वेरी मच इन ट्यून विद मैं जो बताने वाला हूँ सी जावा पाइथन स्नेहा वेरी गुड फैंटास्टिक क्या बात है ध्रुव मजा आ गया फैंटास्टिक so I have opened my VS Code. This is something all of you, I believe, must be very, very, very familiar with, right? What level of experience required for this session? I mean, fresher for experience. Webber, this session will be beneficial for people having 1 year experience, having 5 year experience, having 10 years experience as well. So don't worry. Sir, it's not visible. सार्थक, आप एक बार नेटवर्क चेंज करके देखिए, सब लोगों को विजिबल है.
Actually, Sarthak, you can visit our YouTube channel. There we are live. So आप वहां से देख लीजिए.
Oh, क्या बात है. Well, let me tell you, I also started my journey with PHP. All right. So, जैसा कि मैंने बताया, first thing that we are diving in is Tailwind CSS. I'm sure many of you have already worked with Tailwind. For those of you जिन्होंने कभी काम नहीं किया है Tailwind में, let me first tell you what it is all about. नहीं ध्रुविन, Tailwind is not at all complicated. I'll uncomplicate it for you. Don't worry. My browser should be visible to you. What I'm doing is I'm going to the website, Tailwind's official website, which is tailwindcss.com. First thing that we are doing is, well, installing Tailwind. And it's a straightforward process. So this is the official website. Let us go into docs. Yes, we are using Tailwind with plain, simple HTML, CSS. For that, we need to go in Tailwind CLI. Then we'll be working with React. This is where I'll be going to the section called using. Right now it is Tailwind CLI. All I have to do is follow these commands as it is. Just 3 commands are there. First one, second one, and the third one. So let me copy this. Let me go into my VS Code. Let me fire up my terminal. By the way, you can do this in the plain and simple command prompt as well. If you are in Mac, you can do this in the terminal too. Everything goes. Just give me 1 second. Let me switch off the Copilot and everything. We'll do it all by hand. Okay, so I just copied the first command. Let me paste it. Let me run. So that's it. I ran the first command. Let's go to the browser again. Let's see what it says. Now, it says you'll have to have a file called input CSS. In that, I need to write this. Let me create the file input CSS. I'll be creating that file inside a folder called source src. Inside src, let me create a file input CSS and let me write this in the file. That is it, nothing else. And then this very command. And this is the last and the final command you need. Okay, fantastic, sir. This is the straightforward installation of Tailwind CSS. Now, what has happened? I created a folder src in which I created a file input CSS. Tailwind gave me something in this file by the name output.css. इनपुट सीएसएस मैंने बनाई थी, आउटपुट सीएसएस मुझे टेलविंड ने बनाकर दी. Okay, now inside source, let me now create a file in which I will be working. Let us name it the plain and simple index.html. Boilerplate code. I'm sure ये सबको आता होगा. This is done by exclamation mark shift 1. This is the boilerplate code. Tailwind 1.1. आउटपुट CSS, the file that Tailwind gave us, जो Tailwind ने हमें फाइल दी थी, वो हमें यहाँ पे लिंक करनी है. Is essential. Let me just write 2 lines and I'll tell you what am I doing. Is it font Excel or text? Oh, on that ad, it is text Excel. Yes, thank you, Avtar. So what I have done is I have ensured कि मेरे tailwind चल रही है. The tailwind setup is complete and done. क्या किया मैंने एक div बनाई है, उसको मैंने एक क्लास अप्लाई करी है, एक h1 बनाई है, उसको मैंने एक क्लास अप्लाई करी. Now the thing to note here is मैंने इन क्लास के पीछे की CSS नहीं लिखी है. I haven't wrote CSS behind flex. I haven't written display flex. It just happened. I didn't write font size uh, 2x or 3x. I just wrote this class and it automatically was applied onto the heading. What does this show you? Coming back to the presentation, Tailwind is a utility first styling approach towards CSS. Utility क्या है, right? Regarding certificate, Suraj, Preeti will be able to answer you. And she will answer all your questions regarding certificate and all after this session. Please enjoy the session. Please try to gain something from this session, right? Tailwind CSS is a utility first styling library. Tailwind से हमें क्या मिलता है? With Tailwind, you get a plethora of classes. Tailwind से आपको bunch of classes मिलती हैं जिनका इस्तेमाल करके you can style your web page, arrange your web page. मैंने यहाँ पे इस्तेमाल करी है flex. I used a class flex. देखिए इस flex ने हमें क्या दिया? If I go into the browser, if I open up the inspect element, I just wrote div class flex, and what did Tailwind give me? It gave me display flex. This is Tailwind all about. Classes for to apply flex, classes to apply grid, classes for margin, padding, for color, background color, shadows, border radius. Utility first platform है Tailwind. This is something that we must understand if we want to understand the difference between Tailwind and Material. Right? So this is what is Tailwind? It's a utility first approach towards responsive design. Why Tailwind? Yes, I'm sure you must be wondering why are we studying Tailwind? One, it is the industry standard now. All the big techs, all the major websites, they use Tailwind. Second, you have a huge community support behind Tailwind. Let's say अगर आप किसी problem में फंस भी जाते हैं, you get stuck in a problem while using Tailwind, you have a huge community support behind. You can ask a question and you will very easily, very quickly get your answers. 2. And 3, yes, it makes your work very, very, very fast. You don't have to keep switching between the HTML file and the CSS file. You don't have to create separate CSS files for big screens, for large screens, for smaller screens, for phones. You don't have to create separate CSS. All you can do is right here in the HTML itself. That makes your work very, very, very quick. Sure, Sarthak, I'll share everything. Please explain utility first. Utility first का मतलब है सूरज टेलविंड आपको यूटिलिटीज के लिए यूटिलिटीज मार्जिन हो सकता है, पैडिंग हो सकता है, यूटिलिटी बॉर्डर हो सकता है, यूटिलिटी कैन बी बैकग्राउंड कलर. So Tailwind provides classes to help you to apply such utilities in your project. I hope I'm clearing myself. Rohit, I'll get to that. Installing Tailwind in React, that is a part of this session as well. Just wait and watch. Okay, so this was some theory about Tailwind. Let's get into a live demo. right? Why not build something? Let me first show you what I'm going to build. It's a very plain and simple card design and a responsive card design. Right now, you can see three cards. Well, by the way, this is known as a card. You can see three cards horizontal because right now I'm on a big screen. But if I go into a smaller device, let's say I was into my phone, therein you will see the cards stacked onto each other vertical. As you can see, it is perfectly responsive on a smaller screen, on a medium screen, as well as on a large screen. Let's see, let's try and build something like this, right? Are you guys excited? I sure am. All right. Sure, it does, Sarthak. And it will be built amazingly too. It looks amazing, yes, and it will be built amazing too. So the first thing that I will be doing is, can you see a color on the body, on the whole body? It's a gradient actually. So the first thing, let's try and create this gradient on the body. Oh, by the way, if you are unsure which class to use where, all you need to do is go on to Tailwind's website, click on this search icon. Now, I want to apply a background color. So I'll simply search for background color and there you have it. All the classes that you can apply, all the different colors, all their different shades right in front of you. Right? As simple as that. You can go a little advanced. You can change the opacity. You can use custom values. We'll work on that as well. So anytime that you get stuck, just go to the Tailwind's website, search for what you are looking for, and apply it. Let's say I want to use grid, but I don't know the classes. I'll simply write grid. I'll search for what I want. Let's assume I want grid column. I'll go into grid column and it will tell me these are the classes that you can use. Voice is breaking. Okay, Rajesh, have you checked your network first? Okay, so the first thing is let's look for a gradient. I'll be applying the whole color gradient on the body itself क्योंकि मुझे वो पूरे पेज पे चाहिए, right? ग्रेडियंट कलर हम टेलविंड में अप्लाई करते हैं विद बीजी ग्रेडियंट. अगेन, अगर आप सोच रहे हैं मैं कहां से निकाल के लाया ये क्लास, वेल टेलविंड सीएसएस की वेबसाइट पे ही अवेलेबल है. द रिसर्च आई विल बी लीविंग टू यू. मैंने ये कुछ लिखा. लेट मी गो टू माय वेबसाइट एंड सी व्हाट हैपेंस. oops Nothing happens right now. Nothing. That's because we have to add some more classes as well. Along with the gradient, because I want the three boxes downstairs horizontal, I'll have to apply flex. So let me apply flex. Gradient भी आ जाएगा. vertical alignment, item center. For just horizontal alignment, justify center. For height, I want the body to be full height of the web page. How do you decide which class you need and have to solve the current issue? Which the thing is, it's called brute force. There is no fixed strategy behind it. You apply a class. If you like it, you keep it. If you don't, you just change it. The thing is, with experience, this thing does not take as much time that it might in the beginning. It's as simple as that. और कोई तरीका नहीं है. हिट एंड ट्राई किया मैंने भी, जो अच्छा लगा मैंने लगाया, जो नहीं अच्छा लगा मैंने उसे चेंज किया. It's as simple as that. I hope that answers your question. And as you can see, एक plain and simple gradient हमारे पास आ गया. The next thing, I want this boxes or cards. Okay, I'll be creating just one and I'll leave the other two for you. Well, it's simply copy paste. So I'll be creating only one. Whether it comes to Tailwind, whether it comes to Material UI, or even before Tailwind, there was Bootstrap. It still is, right? In all three, there was something known as a container. कंटेनर बूटस्ट्रैप में भी था, टेलविंड में भी है, मटेरियल यूआई में भी है, और दूसरे फ्रेमवर्क शायद सीएल में भी होता है, चक्रा यूआई में भी होता है. कंटेनर, दैट इज व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू अप्लाई हियर. अब कंटेनर, let me first show you what this container is. So I have applied container. I'm going into my browser. As you can see, when I hover over the container is nothing but a div of almost the full size of my screen. Almost. Right. Container एक wrapper है, just like the div. That wrapper will change according to my device size. Right now, because I'm in a big screen, so the container is showing me as of width of 1280. When I'll go into small screen, the container will automatically shrink. Container's role, do we need to practical now? It's up to you, Sanjay. अगर आप मेरे साथ करेंगे, fantastic. अगर आप बाद में करना चाहते हैं, fine. If you think you can keep up the pace, well, go ahead. Why not? Container. ये container मैं वापस use करूंगा in Material UI as well. This div will be my card. Inside this div, I'll have an image. After that image, I'll have another div for all of that content. So ये image हो गई हमारी, and this will be the div for each and every content. ये heading, ये paragraph, and these two buttons. Let me first write the HTML, then we'll discuss. This will be the heading, paragraph, a div, and inside that div, I'll have a span and a button. The height of the container is 0, Ishan, because the container was empty. Not just container, any HTML element, when it's empty, has height as well as width equated to 0. But because Tailwind already applied width of 100%, that is why you saw 1280 into 0. Because my container was empty at that time. It will still show 0, although I have created elements inside my container now. Each and every element right now is still empty. That is why the height will be 0. Width भी 0 होती अगर Tailwind ने width apply ना की होती. Empty elements always have height and width as 0. Check. This is my structure. Let me fill it with some details. जो heading है उसके अंदर मैंने लिख दिया है product title, a short description of the product, whatever the product would be, price, and a button which will say buy now. If we go into the browser right now and see, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं दिखेगा ये. It will look ugly. Well, अभी ऐसा दिख रहा है. Let me very quickly throw in the image as well. So these are black dummy images that I've already gotten from Unsplash. I already have an images folder. Inside that, you can see I have 3 images. So let me very quickly go to them. Images, let's say phone image. If I go into the browser now, so this is what you are seeing. I have to convert this into this. Once again, I'll be only creating one. Rest two, you'll have to do it. So let's convert this into this. For the time being, let me remove the other. Right? So now this is what we have to pay. The first thing that I'm noticing is, well, my product card is covering the entire screen. I wanted very small width. The first thing I'll be doing is width. Width and Tailwind is applied with classes like W. Let me go to the Tailwind CSS website. If you search for width, this is how you can apply width. W and a number, whatever you want, like this. There are so many options. What I will be using is something known as max width. That is the maximum the card will spread on my screen. Max width. What I'll be using is something like this. That is, my box will be of 384 pixels. It cannot grow more than this. If I go to the browser now, if I check, it is taking shape, right? Some shape, at least. No, Tailwind with Bootstrap, Viraj, not at all needed. No. Well, I want the borders rounded and I want the height of the image a little bit smaller, right? Rounded borders, then I'll be needing background color. Let's check those one by one. With Tailwind, there will be a lot of copy pasting. I'll not be explaining each and every class, but yes, the important things, the important gist I'll be giving you, I'll be covering those. I've given a white background. I've given it a little shadow and a little bit of border radius to make those borders curved, to make those borders rounded. The white background color, a little bit of shadow and curved borders. But as you can see, the curved borders are only on the bottom, not at the top. We'll fix that in a moment. Also, when I hover over it, you can see the background color changing. Let me do that as well. When the page loads, the background is white, but when I'll hover over it, the background will be gray and the transition will be smooth. That's what I'm saying here. So now it looks like this. So we are getting there, right? Yes, but the image needs some adjustment. The height needs to be adjusted. And then some spacing between the title, paragraphs, that is, we need paddings and margins. Let's go to that. The image needs to be adjusted. I can do that very simply by writing a class on the image for width, for height, and for the image's proportion. W full will give us width 100%, height 48, will give me about 120 pixels of height, and object cover will make the photo in the center, or will make the photo cover the entire div. So if I should apply all styles in same line, or there is an alternative way? With Tailwind, Sarthak, you have to apply, because we are applying styles in the form of classes. तो classes तो एक साथ ही लिखनी पड़ती हैं. If if your class can become, if your class becomes way too long, then there are other methods, including the config file. But right now, हाँ, अभी के लिए तो हमें सारी classes एक साथ लिखनी पड़ेगी. Yes. Okay, let's now focus on the bottom div. अच्छी नहीं लग रही है अभी, थोड़ा ऐसा बनाना है उसको. Let's see. Let's start with the spacing on all the four sides. Right? P5. P stands for padding. From all the four sides, my div will take about 2 REMs of padding. If I go into the browser now, this was previous. As you can see, spacing on all the four sides. Along with the spacing, I want flex as well. इट्स अ ट्रेड ऑफ स्नेहल. आपको क्लासेस तो एक साथ ही लिखनी है, HTML में आप एंटर करके ऐसे नहीं लिख सकते. अगर इट्स अ ट्रेड ऑफ, अगर आपको एक लाइन में समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, सो माइट यू कैन डू समथिंग लाइक दिस. ऐसे कर लिया मैंने, ऐसे. यू कैन डू लाइक दिस. इफ you find it comfortable, you can work it like this. Otherwise, तो ऐसे ही करना. यस, यू कैन ऑटो फैच क्लास, योगेश. टेलविंड CSS का प्लगइन आता है, आप उसे एक्सटेंशन आता है, आप उसे इंस्टॉल करिए. यू कैन सर्च फॉर टेलविंड CSS प्लगइन. यू कैन इंस्टॉल इट. इससे क्या होगा? when you start writing a class's name, you will get suggestions and you can simply select the class that you want from it. If you are, however, starting out with Tailwind, I would suggest कि आप Tailwind की वेबसाइट पे जाएं, search for the class's name and then use it from there, because that will build something known as a muscle memory, and that is important. If you, however, are an experienced developer, yeah, go for it. Now, let me shift my focus on heading. I want to make the heading bigger. I want to make it grayish in color. So what I'm doing is I'm applying class. This is for size. This is for to make it bold. And this class is for color. I have turned it off right now, Anil. My heading was like this previously, but now it is like this. Let me work on the paragraph and on the buttons as well. I'm applying a gray color on the paragraph and some margin from the top to make it to separate it from the heading. If I go to the browser, as you can see, let's focus on the bottom div now. Now, I'm copying and pasting some classes and assuming that you have a little bit of knowledge about Flex because that will help in what I am doing right now. You should understand what justify between is. You should understand what item center does. Let me apply some class for font size, for color on the span, and now the buttons. Whenever you will find buttons in your project, you will always find that buttons will have may way too many classes as compared to some other text, some other element. So what I have done, I have applied flex for the spacing margin to make it separate from the top element. Then on the span, I have applied some color, some font size. On the button, I have applied background color, text color, and I have applied the text color change on hover. Chaitanya, try switching your network or maybe try rejoining. If you are on LinkedIn, you can go to YouTube or vice versa. The point that I'm trying to make with this project is, with this assignment is that in Tailwind, all you need is a little bit of searching. Let's say for if I want to apply transition, a little bit of searching and then using the classes. It's as simple as that. Okay. Although I mentioned that I will be creating just one, just for the sake of responsiveness, let me copy and paste this very product, this very card, two more times. So this is the product, this is the card. Let me copy it and paste it two more times. So what do we have right now on the screen is, now what do I want? I want them horizontal instead of vertical. That is where we need flex or grid, whichever you like. I will be using flex. Our container now has to have flex, right? This is why we need flex on container. Also, I want the containers to be a little bit away from the border. As you can see right now, they are all stuck to the border. I'm doing all of that in one single line with this. What I have written. Yes, sir. Thank you. Although I will not be using display flex, I'll be using the class used to apply display flex. That is what Tailwind is all about. So I have applied flex. I have applied that the gap between the three boxes will be about 2 REMs and the boxes will be in the horizontal center. So right now, this is what you are seeing on the screen. And it is looking fine, not bad, right? It is looking fine on big screen. What about small screens? What about phones? What about tablets? Because it is Tailwind, yes, there will be some sort of responsiveness. Let me show it to you. So yes, as you can see, some sort of responsiveness is there, right? Oh, wow. As soon as I go below 600 or below 620 rather, you can see the button stretches. With the button, the whole card stretches, and as you can see now, it is not looking good. अब अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, right? Here, I will need to incorporate responsiveness. And here, Tailwind peaks. यहाँ पे आपको समझ में आएगा that why Tailwind is the industry leader, why we are not using Bootstrap or why we are not using vanilla CSS mode. Sag, चिराग दैट इज फॉर यू, आप यूज करिए उसको, मैं उसे यूज ज्यादा नहीं करता हूँ फॉर इंटेलिजेंट इंटेलिजेंस एक्सटेंशन ऑफ टेल। यू कैन इंस्टॉल यूज इट, इट्स प्रीटी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड। हाँ सागर, टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन, वी यूज अलाइन आइटम्स व्हेन वी वांट टू वर्टिकली अप्लाई, व्हेन वी वांट टू वर्टिकली अलाइन ऑल द आइटम्स इनसाइड अ div। जब हमें किसी एक div के अंदर सारे आइटम्स को वर्टिकली अलाइन करना होता है तो हम अलाइन आइटम यूज करते हैं। अलाइन एंड अलाइन कंटेंट is for a particular element inside a div। ठीक है, आई होप दैट आंसर्स योर क्वेश्चन बोथ ऑफ। हाँ, बड़ी स्क्रीन पे मेरा ये अच्छा लग रहा है, छोटी स्क्रीन पे क्या? लेट मी टेल यू वेयर टेलविंड सीएसएस पीक्स। एंड आई विल बी जस्ट राइटिंग वन क्लास। मैंने मेरे कंटेनर पे क्लास लगाई थी mx auto flex and gap 6, that's it। along with flex, let me now apply this md। if you are coming from Bootstrap, if you have studied a little bit about responsive design before, MD means medium devices having more than 768 pixels of width. Those kind of devices are known as medium. What has happened? First, let us see what has happened. Well, nothing right now. It is looking fine. It is looking just like before, right? If I again go, however, into responsive design mode, okay, nothing has changed. Let's see. Did I miss something? Oh, okay, I might have missed something. Happens. Give me just 1 second. Oh, yes, I have missed something. Along with this, let me apply one more class. Let me first see if it works or not, then we'll discuss. Oh, yes. As you can see, I now have a responsive card system as well, which is working as low as 280 pixels. Yes, exactly, Ishan. That is what MD means. So, what I had previously was this. और ये बड़ी स्क्रीन पे तो अच्छा लग रहा था, छोटी पे नहीं लग रहा था। Then I added this। देखिए मैं समझा रहा हूँ क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे। फ्लेक्स कॉल जो मेरा कंटेनर है उसे ये बता रहा है दैट मेक ऑल दी कार्ड्स वर्टिकल। तीनों कार्ड्स को हॉरिजॉन्टल नहीं वर्टिकल कर दो। देखिए फ्लेक्स कॉल क्या बता रहा है, मेक ऑल दी कार्ड्स वर्टिकल। एज यू कैन सी द कार्ड्स आर वर्टिकल। हाउएवर आफ्टर दैट, एंड यस ऑर्डर मैटर्स, अगर मैं इसको यहां लिख दूं इट विल नॉट वर्क। कीप इन माइंड ऑर्डर मैटर्स। एंड in Bootstrap, in Tailwind, and in MUI, all of these are mobile first platforms। छोटी स्क्रीन में क्या करना है पहले वो स्पेसिफाई करना होता है, देन कम्स बिगर स्क्रीन्स। फॉर स्क्रीन्स smaller than medium devices, make the cards vertical, and for screens having medium that are considered medium and above, make them हॉरिजॉन्टल ये हम कह रहे हैं। तो 768 से बड़ी डिवाइसेस पे तो आप देखेंगे ये हॉरिजॉन्टल है, लेकिन व्हेन वी गो इनटू स्मॉलर डिवाइसेस, इफ आई वर यूजिंग वनीला सीएसएस, ये इतना सा काम करने के लिए आई वुड नीडेड एटलीस्ट 10 लाइन्स ऑफ सीएसएस कोड, जो कि यहाँ मैंने एक ही लाइन में निपटा दिया। दिस इज व्हाई टेलविंड इज लीडिंग द इंडस्ट्री व्हेन इट कम्स टू रिस्पॉन्सिव डिजाइन। आई होप यू फाइंड दैट इंटरेस्टिंग, राइट? And let me also show you, it is not as exactly as the reference। यहाँ आप देख पा रहे हैं बॉर्डर इमेजेस की बॉर्डर आर नॉट कर्व, and I have left it intentionally. You guys need to figure out how can I curve the images as, वो आपको करके देखना होगा। Nitin, with Tailwind's latest version 4, Tailwind's latest version is 4. What we are using is Tailwind V4, as you can see here. With Tailwind's latest version, there is no need for any separate JavaScript. And when I say JavaScript, I mean React as well. अब आपको Tailwind के साथ separate JS या React का कोड लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है, जैसा कि मैंने आपको करके दिखाया, right? I hope that answers your question. Oh, very good, Avtar. Fantastic. चलिए, let's apply Avtar's suggestion. Let me apply it to one image. If it works, fantastic. So अवतार ने हमें ये सजेशन दिया है। लेट्स सी क्या होता है। फैंटास्टिक अवतार, क्या बात है, बहुत ही बढ़िया। सो यू कैन यूज दिस इन ऑल योर images. Avatar, do kindly explain what does TL mean and what does TR mean for anyone who is wondering. Avatar, please do the needful. Fantastic. Thank you so much. यस सिमरन, क्या बात है, बहुत ही बढ़िया। गाइस देखिए, इस एग्जांपल से टेक अवे क्या है? द टेक अवे फ्रॉम दिस एग्जांपल इज, or from any assignment in Tailwind, that in Tailwind, these classes take the center stage। Tailwind में ये क्लासेस हैं जो सारा खेल खेलती हैं। Switching the order of classes, flex all, MD flexible did not change the behavior for me. Chirag, when you say did not change the behavior, you did not get the intended behavior, या दोनों तरीकों से आपको जो behavior चाहिए वो मिल रहा है? Okay, anonymous attendee is saying, can we use Bootstrap? But it doesn't just to use Bootstrap or not. Okay. For the person asking, does industry use Bootstrap? Bootstrap use is diminishing day by day. Tailwind is leading the industry. That is why in this seminar we are using Tailwind. Bootstrap use is diminishing day by day, day by day. सूरज, क्या क्या सवाल क्या है आपका टेक्स्ट सेंटर एंड फ्लेक्स प्रॉपर्टी से? Chirag, in this particular case, yes, you might have the same output with the flex call, MD flex row। इनका अगर मैं आउटपुट इनका अगर मैं सीक्वेंस चेंज भी कर दूं, हो सकता है आपको सेम आउटपुट मिल रहा हो। प्लीज कीप दिस very clear in your mind how Tailwind works is mobile first. You have to specify small screens behavior first, and then big screens behavior. It might happen कि इस particular case में there is no change if I change the order. Please, if you make this a habit, you will have unintended results. So please make this a habit. छोटी स्क्रीन का पहले, बड़ी स्क्रीन का बाद में, ऐसे ही लिखें, सही रहता है. I'm also using Tailwind instead of there is a problem writing code. Anil, elaborate. किस तरह की प्रॉब्लम आ रही है? ओके सूरज. स्नेहल, अगर मैं आपको कोड दे दूंगा तो आप क्या लिखेंगे? Anyways, I will provide all the code, but not right now, after this. Tailwind is for all devices with it. Tailwind is for that your web page looks good in all kinds of devices, whether it's a phone having just 400 odd pixels or whether it's a wide screen monitor having 2000 pixel space. Tailwind is for make your web page look in all kinds of devices. Snail, don't worry, I will provide the code. Don't worry. Okay, the point that I was trying to make with this was with taking Tailwind, we make everything from scratch. The HTML is just the same. What takes center stage is the classes. We don't have to write much of CSS. As you can see, I haven't written any. मैंने एक भी लाइन की CSS नहीं लिखी है. All I was doing was applying classes, searching for classes, applying classes, searching for classes, and continuing that in loop. Right. Bootstrap offers pre-styled components. Yes, Anil, but if you want pre-styled components, then the library that has overtaken Bootstrap is MERN, which is our next topic. Oh, Tailwind's compatibility is the best, Chandramohan. So don't have to worry about Tailwind compatibility. Tailwind works with the Edge, with Chromium-based browsers, with Firefox, with the Samsung browsers in your phone, Safari. So don't worry about Tailwind browsers compatibility. Tailwind's browser compatibility. The major difference, the major difference between Tailwind, what Tailwind offers, and Material UI, also known as MUI, is Tailwind can provide classes which you can apply on your HTML code which you have written from scratch. However, speed matters in today's world. Yes, Nitin, it can be migrated. It is done on a daily basis in the industry. So yes, advisable bhi hai, viable bhi hai. MUI, Material UI, offers pre-built components. With Material UI, you don't need to write everything from scratch. Material UI gives you the common components that we use on a daily basis while creating a front end. Material UI gives you pre-built. Material UI gives the code as is, which you can copy and paste and modify according to your needs. And that is the very main reason MUI is very popular. However, MUI, as is written, works with React. In order to work with MUI, we first would need React. This is the, by the way, this is the homepage of MUI, which is MUI.com. Tailwinds was tailwindcss.com. MUI is MUI.com. MUI or Material UI. In order to work with MUI, we need to first have React installed. So, sure, yes. We'll talk about it a little later, however. Is Material UI the same as Bootstrap? It is an advancement on Bootstrap. You can think of it, it is built on top of Bootstrap. Bootstrap में अगर आपके पास 5 ऑप्शन थे तो Material UI में आपके पास 15 ऑप्शंस हैं. But yes, if you know Bootstrap, learning MUI will be much simpler for you. Okay, let me very quickly ask all of you guys a question. How many of you have worked with React before? A simple yes or no? Oh, fantastic. Okay, no problem, sir. Okay, majority of you have worked on React. Fantastic. Let's install React. Once again, it's a 30-second process. I have again opened my terminal. The command to install React. For people who haven't installed React for any time before, please use this command. Please write down this command. npm create read @test. Fantastic, Shubham. Also, I'm adding to this command this. My React will be installed inside a folder by the name MUI. MUI नाम से folder बन जाएगा, React उसमें install होगी. It wants to ask me कि क्या install करना है. Select a framework. So I'll select React. For this particular webinar, we won't be using TypeScript. So I'm simply selecting JavaScript. That's it. Now all I need to do is run these 3 commands in that order. So let me go to MUI folder, cdmui, npm install. npm install is the command that will install React for me. Plain and simple. After that, npm run dev, that will get my React up and running. So it's a 30-second process altogether. That's it. React installed. Once again, for people who haven't installed React before, this is the command I have used. npm create read @latest. I wanted my React inside a folder MUI, so I added -- template MUI. As you can see, I have an MUI folder. I have a folder by the name MUI. Well, that's it. Let us now go to the MUI website. If I click on Discover Core Libraries, we want MUI, Material UI. So I'll click on this and then get started. Plain and simple. Let's go to the installation tab. The first thing that we need for MUI to work is we need the basic, we need the default Material UI library. Let's copy and paste. सबको आता है, copy paste. And along with this is the absolute necessary for MUI to work. इतना तो आपको install करना ही पड़ेगा. Along with this, if I scroll down the browser, I am also installing icons because I'll be using icons at a later stage. This was necessary for MUI to work. This is optional. हमने React install करी है. After that, we have installed Material UI and we have installed the Material icons. ये हमने अभी तक किया है. It will take just 1 second. Okay, it's taking longer than expected. Don't worry. While this happens, let us go to the MUI's website. The major difference between Tailwind and MUI. Tailwind में मैं क्या ढूंढ रहा था? I was searching for classes that I can apply on HTML which I wrote. यहाँ मैं classes ढूंढ रहा था उस HTML पे लगा सकूं जो मैंने लिखा है. In here, I'll not be searching for classes, but for complete HTML code snippets. Installation इतना ही है. If I again scroll down the left hand side menu, components is where all the fun is. Let me start with very simple button. If you want a styled button and if you want it quickly, Material UI can give you this, can give you this. अगर आपको ऐसा बटन चाहिए, if you want a button like this, you have the code right here. You can copy this, you can paste it in your file, and you are good to go. So this is what MUI offers, pre-built components. The major reason for MUI's popularity is the speed that MUI brings with it. What is the purpose to use MUI? Sarthak, speed. If you want to build your UI quickly, if you don't want to write anything from scratch, use the pre-built components from that MUI has to offer. Viraj, if you want different build or different spacing which is not present in a Tailwind classes, that is why Tailwind has gained popularity in Bootstrap. If it were Bootstrap, अगर आप Bootstrap में होते और आपको ऐसा कुछ फेस करना पड़ता तो आपको अपनी CSS फाइल के अंदर जाके एक नई CSS फाइल बना के उसके अंदर जाके फिर वो लिखना पड़ता. Let's say that I want the max width of these cards to be not 248 pixels but 249 pixels. Max WSM मुझे दे रहा है 248 pixels of width. What if I want it to be 249? With Tailwind, you can apply custom classes like this. It is as simple as this. And you can do this with all of the classes. Like, let's say I didn't want the white color. I did not want pure white. I wanted something else. तो मैं यहाँ पे ये लिख सकता हूँ. So this is pure white. What if I wanted this? So you can get like this. That is why Tailwind has gained popularity. I hope that answers your question. Okay, sure. Okay, Chirag, we can, but yes, if we use Tailwind and Material together, we have to be very cautious. But yes, the answer is we can. Okay, we were on to Tailwind. Oh, sorry, on MUI. And yes, MUI is installed. Let me run React. In order to run React, the command is npm run dev. There you go. Right now, our browser is looking like this. This is how React default installation looks like. What I want to create is something like this, a plain and simple registration form. Okay. Before this. Now, I'm sure you remember what we created with Tailwind. We created cards like these, right? Or we created one card and we copy pasted it. What if I wanted to create a similar card, but I did not want to write everything from scratch? Well, that is the beauty of MUI. Let me show you how we can create a similar card very quickly with MUI. Let us go to the MUI website. Let us scroll down and look for something known as a card. Let's see. Oh, yes, there is the card. Let me scroll down. Don't you think this lizard card looks very much like the card that we have, right? Although not exactly similar, but very much. Let me go ahead and copy its code because why not? In our VS Code. Now, you must understand the folder structure of React for this. Let me go into the source folder in app.jsx. Let me flush out everything. Let me paste what I copied. If I go to the browser now, just two things that are not accurate. The one, the image, and two, the background color. Other than that, don't we have a working card which looks very much like this within seconds, didn't we? And we didn't have to write anything from scratch. Well, this is the beauty and the reason for popularity of MUI. Well, let me apply the image as well. Let me change this lizard because we are not dealing with lizards. So we have the images. Let me copy one image in the pre-built assets folder of React. This is how you use images in React. Now, when it comes to image, this is the image. This is the predefined path. Let me remove it. Let me write phone like this. Let me change the alt text to phone. There you go. Let me change the text as well. I think it was written product. And there was something here as well. Let me write a text. बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया. That is why. So someone asked, why are we using MUI? Why should we use MUI? Well, this is the reason why you should use MUI. इसी कार्ड को बनाने में टेलविंड के साथ मैंने 5 मिनट का समय 10 मिनट का समय लगाया था. With MUI, I created that within 13 seconds. Sure, I can make the button also look like this. I can make both of them separate. I can do that. Let me do that. And in doing that, let me show you how we can modify the code of MUI as well. So in place of button, let's apply something known as a link. Let me write 49.99 in that. There you go. This is how you can apply your styles to MUI's components. Now, if you have worked with JavaScript, if you have worked with React or Angular or Vue, you must be familiar with this double curly braces syntax. As you can see, both are at the edges. I can change the look and feel of this button as well. If I go back to the code, you can see it already has an attribute called size. Yes, you can have medium, small, and large. Let me change it to medium. Also, you can apply an attribute called color. Now, not Bootstrap. Material UI provides buttons पे चलते हैं एक बार. Material UI provides 3 to 4 colors available, color size choices like secondary, error, primary. If you have worked with Bootstrap before, these names should be common to you. These names should ring a bell, right? This is about color, and we have already seen size. So let me change the color. Let me say primary. Okay, let us go to the browser now. Oh, I didn't. Oh, we needed background color. Sorry, we didn't need color. The background color change. Now, difference between Tailwind and MUI. MUI में background color के लिए property नहीं है. If you want a background color to be applied, see, this is how we do it. You can pass a variant. Variant in majority have two options. One you can see contain and one is outline. Let me show you both. Outline. इससे क्या आएगा? You will only see a border like this, and contained will fill it with a color. Outlined, only bordered. Contained. Yay! Now we have a button which is similar to this. See, this is the majority reason of using MUI. What is this typograph? Okay, it's not typograph. First of all, it's typography. Sabit. And typography is when you want to write some text onto the web page. See, this is a typography. In other words, it's text. This is the typography. Typography has two major options, two major properties that you can play with. What component you want product inside? When I say component div, इसका मतलब ये है कि वो एक div element बनेगा. That means the product that you are seeing here will be wrapped inside a div, and the variant is for the font size of the text written inside product. H5 की जो size होती है variant, वो size उस पे apply कर देगा. This is what typography is. Now let's come to this. Typography. यहाँ पे variant में लिखा है body 2. Body 2 suggests that this is a body text. There are two type of body variants, body 1 and body 2. Body 1 का size थोड़ा बड़ा होता है, body 2 का थोड़ा सा छोटा होता है. That is the only difference. Gutters are the spaces. गटर बॉटम का मतलब ये है कि प्रोडक्ट के नीचे थोड़ा स्पेस छोड़िए. सिमिलरली यू हैव गटर टॉप एज वेल. Gutters in Bootstrap, in Tailwind, and in MUI being the same spacing. How to customize card border radius globally. In order to do anything globally in MUI, I hope you are asking for MUI, Chirag. If you want to do something for a bunch of components, or if you want to do something globally in MUI, this is how you do. Let's say I want to apply uh, a padding to all the components together. I don't want to apply individual padding to this, to this, to this typography, to this typography, to this card action, to this link. What I can do is I can apply that onto this card. Along with padding, you can apply any styles that you want. How can I do that? First, I'll have to create a custom component. The thing with MUI is you can use predefined components, like card is a predefined component, but right, let's say, now let me make it a product card. Now, product card is not a defined component. If we are using a predefined, or if we are using a custom component, you'll have to define what that custom component is and what CSS should be applied to it. Now, if you haven't worked with React, these things might seem a little bit of tricky. So what I am defining here, that product card is a styled card. If you remember, product card initially क्या था? Card था. So product card is nothing but a styled card, and all the product card and all the child components will have these styles. This is how we can define a global style. I hope that answers your question. I'm not using it right now. This is just for demonstration purposes. Although I'll come back to that, it has a very important thing that you should understand. Why use double brackets? Well, this is how this is the syntax of MUI as well as React, Simran. These curly braces are for React, are to satisfy React, and this is nothing but a plain old JavaScript object. CSS in React, inline CSS in React is always written inside an object. बाहर वाले कर्ली ब्रेस इसलिए हैं क्योंकि हम रिएक्ट को ये समझा रहे हैं लॉजिक लिखा जा रहा है एंड वो लॉजिक एक ऑब्जेक्ट है. दैट इज व्हाई द डबल ब्रैकेट्स. Link is anchor tag, Sagar. Link is MUI's way of giving you a styled anchor tag. It's your choice, Ishan. There is no difference. If you are working with Tailwind, you will use the upper one. If you are working with the MUI, you will use the bottom one. It's a choice thing. Let me go into the browser. Let me show you how easy it is to create such registration form. Oh, I don't think we have proper time for that. Okay, no problem. No problem. We'll create as much as we would, as much as we can. Let me create a component. Let me go to main JSX and tell React that now I want data coming from registration CSS, registration JSX, that is. Now, if you have worked with React, you should understand what I'm doing. If you haven't, it's fine. Play along. Let me get the spelling right. Yeah, fantastic. If I go to the browser, this is what I am seeing right now. No problems. No, shared CN is not part of this topic, right? Part of this webinar right now, I mean. Although it is good, I will agree. Shared CN is very good. If you remember, when we were studying Tailwind, I told you about a container. Material UI also has a container. So what I am creating with a container, I am simply creating an element with some width. That is it. Oh, right now the width you can see is 48. I do not want such a small width. What I can do is I can use property max width. Let's say LG. LG stands for large. Let's see what it does. Oh, nothing. Okay, let's remove it. Let's use something known as full width. Okay, I'm missing something. Oh, I'm not missing anything. It's just that the container is empty right now. Well, let's play along. Let me get max width only. Max width LG. What does max width LG tell us? It tells us height to get it visible or some content in it. I just have to put some content in it, which I will do. Max width LG tells us that this container will no bigger than 1200 pixels. 1200 pixels से ज़्यादा बड़ा ये नहीं होगा. The maximum width it can attain is 1200 pixels. Now, what do I want? I want a box with such a shadow, as you can see, and with rounded borders. A box. Let me go to React. Let me search for a box. And there it is. Well, what is a box? A box is a container for grouping other elements. A box is just like a div. So let me create a box. Of course, we'll have to put some CSS on it. I have outlined a variant. I have suggested the variant as outline. So you will get an outline and with some CSS. Let's see what it gives us. Oh, right now, nothing. Let it be. It's fine. Let it be. Okay. Okay. I got the fault. I got the fault. Okay. It's nothing we have done. It's actually React's fault. Let me remove this CSS, the predefined CSS. There you go. You can see the box now. This was the container having 1200 pixel width and this is our box. The takeaway from this is you will see that I will not be writing anything from the scratch. I will be using predefined components present in MUI. I want a heading which will say register. I'm using the pre-built component typography. What it will give me? Oh, typography is not defined. Graphy is defined now. So what it will give me? It will give me register. For this email, for this password, what I'll be using? I'll be using something known as a text field or a text box. I just have to find it. Ah, yeah, text field. This is what my text fields will be. That is this or this or this. The thing is, I am not writing anything from scratch. This is what I wanted to show you, that we will not be writing anything from scratch. We'll be just using predefined components from React, from MUI. After this typography, let me start a form. Okay, this is the only thing that I will be writing from scratch, the form at itself. After that, form control coming from predefined, text field coming predefined. ये हमें क्या दे रहा है? Let me show you. Ta-da! Yes, of course, we can make it full screen. वो हम कर देंगे. If I copy and paste this, if I change the ID, the label, you will have a password as well. Then what do we need? We need radio buttons. Let me go back to MUI. Let me find radio. This is the radio group. Let me copy and paste some code. So let me copy this whole thing. We'll have to include form label. We'll have to include radio group, form control label. We'll have to include radio. If I go to the browser now, ta-da! If you are wondering कि ये horizontal क्यों आ रहा है, why it is not coming vertical, well, all you need to do is apply flex on the form. All you need to do is apply flex on the form. I can do this like this. Sorry, not that scene. Style. Display flex. Next direction. If I go back to the browser, ta-da! Okay. These are text boxes. This is a radio group. This is a select. This, what you are seeing on the screen, is a select, which again is right here. This is the exact select. I have just copied and pasted it. This is a text area. Now, text area, you can find it a little at the bottom. This is the text area. This one. This is a plain and simple button, which we have already showed you. This is a link. And yes, sign in with Google, sign in Facebook. ये क्या है? Let me show you what these are. If we go to buttons again, the sign in with Facebook and Google are buttons with icon and label. वो ऐसे वाले दोनों बटन हैं. Let me show you how we can create that very, very quickly. So, let me just copy this. Let me go to my code. Let me paste. Let me import things. Let me import the icons. That is why I use the material icons क्योंकि मुझे ये चाहिए थे icons. If I go back to the browser, if I see what I have, something is wrong. Delete icon is not defined. Okay, let me find the delete icon. It is defined. Let me copy and paste from where I can get delete icon. Let me copy and paste both. If you want the Google and Facebook icon, all you need to do is you need to change this to Google, this to Facebook, and this to Google icon and Facebook icon. And you need to do the needful at the bottom as well. Instead of delete icon, you can have Google icon, you can have Facebook icon, you can have all sorts of icon as well. Ta-da! I will be sending a screenshot of what the whole form looks like, and I will leave it for you guys to create. With that, let me mark the end of this session from my side, and I will open this session for any questions what you guys might have. Feel free to bombard it with me. Guys, now is the time for questions.
Yeah, before that, I want to request everyone, guys, we have one session feedback form which I'm launching from my end. Kindly, please do fill it out. And if you have any question, please write it down in a Q&A tab. Rohit, we have a question from like LinkedIn. Ritika is asking, please suggest how can I improve my designing skills?
I'm working first of all with Vanilla CSS. Vanilla CSS is the plain CSS. By creating different sorts of layouts, you can create different forms, you can create different landing pages. Start with creating them with Vanilla CSS. When you get a hold of things with Vanilla, then I would suggest move on to Tailwind. If you get the hang of Vanilla CSS and Tailwind, then only I would suggest to use pre-built component like the one I am using from APUI.
Okay, we have another question. How to stay updated with rapid changes in front-end UI trends and tooling?
There are so many good blogs and podcasts available on the internet. CSS Tricks is one very old, very reputed website which have a newsletter as well. I would suggest you to register for their newsletters. CSS Tricks is one. Geek for Geeks is one. Free Code Camp. Register for their newsletters. Do visit the website once in a while, once every 7 days or whenever you can get the time.
Okay, another question. For someone aiming to specialize in front-end UI development, how important is mastering libraries, Tailwind or MUI?
No, they are not. The first and foremost, as I answered in the previous question as well, get a whole of vanilla CSS and vanilla JS first. Then you can learn any library, any framework that you want, be it Tailwind, be it MUI, be it Chakra, be it ChatCN, be it Skeleton, or anything. Master the core, the vanilla CSS and JS first.
Okay. Uh, we have our last question. You have answered many questions in between, actually. So, we have a last question, actually. What's the best way to organize and structure Tailwood classes in complex component to avoid clutter?
Sorry, I was talking on mute. Yes, this is a very common problem when working with Tailwind. So, to avoid clutter, what you can do is the first and the foremost thing that I would suggest is to use a config file. If you are using a similar structure or a set of similar classes again and again repeatedly, because that happens. Let's say you are using flex, justify content, align items, flex direction. You are using a combination of these four classes, let's say 20 times in your project. What you can do is you can create a bundle of them in your config. That bundle will have just a single name. That single name can then apply those four classes for you. So instead of four classes, you just have to write a single name that will declutter your project a little. However, there are other third-party tools as well to do this for you instead of the built-in config file. But I would suggest the built-in methods are always the best. So config file is the way to go when you think that you too many classes is cluttering your HTML.
Okay. Shreya is asking, is there any site from where she can learn vanilla CSS and JS?
For HTML, CSS, and for a little bit of vanilla JS, I would say the Mukhi schools is fine. When it comes to advanced topics of JS like prototyping and closures and things like that, I would say MDN is the best. Mozilla Developer Networks, MDN. For CSS and for simpler JavaScript, Mukhi schools is still good.
Okay, Sanjay is asking, how do we configure CSS classes in Tailwind?
Sanjay, go to Tailwind CSS's website, search for any property that you might want to apply in config. There is always an option down here of using a custom value or using a, what do you say, an arbitrary value. Do a little research, my friend. This is a very, very, very important, a very easy question. I would want you to do some research. You will get the answer by yourself. Please do some research. So when I be scheduling a next webinar in front-end development, Priti, this might be for you when you
No,
are calling me back.
when you are available, this is for you.
Well, I'm available tomorrow as well.
Sure, Chirag will connect with Rohit again and we'll take another session again very soon. And Rohit, we are like done with the questions. Do you have anything which you want to convey to our audience?
You all have been very awkward and friendly, sir. This one is for you, Priti, again. You have been a wonderful audience, guys. You were an interactive audience. You kept asking questions. You kept me on the toes for all of the 2 hours, for which I will thank each and every one of you. As you guys also mentioned, front end is a rapidly developing, rapidly evolving field. Having said that, after my 11 years of experience, I still very firmly believe get your basics right. If you are good in vanilla CSS, if you are good in vanilla JS, mastering any framework, be it Tailwind or MUI, will be a snap of your fingers. Master the basics. The frameworks will come and go. The basics will remain. Master the basics. writing code in any framework, it will take you a day or two to get the hang of it. That will be all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rohit, for delivering such an insightful session. And we are grateful for your time which you have invested and energy and most importantly your knowledge. And to everyone who have joined us, thank you very much for being a part of this learning experience. If you guys still have any question, please feel free to reach out to us or directly connect with Rohit. And the session recordings are also available on our YouTube channel and LinkedIn account. So you can revisit it anytime. So till then, guys, take care, keep learning, and have an amazing day. And once again, I want to say thank you to Rohit.
Thank you. Thank you, Preeti, for having me. Thank you, guys, for listening to me talk for 2 hours straight. Thank you, guys. Have a very
Yeah.
great day.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye, Rohit. Take care.